Good afternoon and welcome back to ICE 365 Live, Day 2 of ICE London 2022. We have a packed programme for this afternoon. We have lots of amazing visitors visiting us in the studio, and we'll be patching out to the show floor to find out what is happening out there in the show. So, to kick us off for this afternoon's programme, we talk LatAm in focus, and I have 3 guests with me in the studio. I'm joined by Brazilian lawyer Luiz, Felipe, Maia, founding partner of Maia, Yoshiyasu, Ida Lopez, president of IPJyC, Mendoza, and Sebastian Vivot, CTO of LotBA. Welcome to the studio, folks. Lovely to have you. Are you enjoying the show so far?
Yes, we are enjoying the show. It's a bigger show in the world, so I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be back. After the pandemic, it's great to be back at the event.
Yeah, a nice little rest, but everyone's come back with great enthusiasm, ready to do business face-to-face once more.
Yeah.
So, Luiz, to kick us off, legal sports betting is moving closer. Are you confident the market will be live in time for the World Cup?
I think we have good chances of the market being live. The government has been working hard on the regulation of sports betting. The information that we have is that the decree is ready. It can be published at any time. I think licenses may be available in time for the World Cup. I don't know if the operators will have time to be live by then, because after the licensing procedure, it takes some time for them to be ready to operate, and there will be a window of time for them to comply with the regulation. But I know that the government is doing their best to get in time.
So just to ask a question about specificity, because it's taken about 4 years, do you know how lawmakers have been able to refine legislation to get it ready in time?
Yeah, what happened is the law that legalized sports betting in Brazil, it legalized sports betting as a lottery modality. And it's subject to further regulation. And this regulation is going to be made by a presidential decree, that's the one being drafted, and also by some ordinances that will be issued by the Ministry of Economy. And all these ordinances and the decree, these documents are being prepared by the Ministry of Economy. So I think we can expect this to be ready by the end of the year. And I hope in time for the World Cup.
Okay, fingers crossed then.
Yeah.
And Sebastian, over to you. The state and province market now has a number of operators live. Do you feel the Buenos Aires iGaming market is off to a successful start?
Again, the last thing?
So the state and province market has a number of operators live and operating currently. Do you feel the Buenos Aires iGaming market is off to a good start?
Yes, we have a good start. The province and the city of Buenos Aires are different jurisdictions and regulatory jurisdictions. Both start 4 months ago, the operation. We started with 7 operations and the province with another 2. And we feel that it's a good start. We were fear about marketing campaigns being so aggressive to the public in the first stages, but no. Our operators start slowly developing the market. Then the novelty for Argentina was the sports betting was a new market. And the soccer tournament starts 2 months ago, the football tournament. So now we are starting to see some publicity of our operators, and we are very lucky seeing how the market is growing.
And do you know what operators have taken the lead in the market?
They are all similar. I don't feel there are only 4 months. In 4 months, we can't see who is taking the lead, or it's very initial stage.
It's too early to tell.
It's too early to stage.
Yes. And have there been any surprises along the way?
No, I was a little bit fear about surprises, but there is no surprises. A little details about adjusting some process between the regulator and the operator, but nothing difficult to do, okay?
And as the first to launch, what have you done to help colleagues in other states, such as Mendoza, as they prepare to open their markets?
Yes.
You can both take that question if you wish.
Ida is Mendoza regulator. He's in other stage of the process, of course, we start first, so we are working together and with other provinces to understand and start their operation naturally. Okay?
Yes, we think the same. We think that the only way that we can do is make similar regulations because we don't have a national law. So we work together to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Argentina is a federal country, and every state province, there are 24 provinces, are like different countries in gambling industry. So to bring a nice market to the operators, we have to work together because one platform is easier than 24 different platforms for the online gamers.
Yes, the problem is that Argentina have undelegate powers, the province to the nation, and it means that each jurisdiction have to have their own regulation. So the only, and it's your other question, but the only way to do that is work together, by the many provinces work together, and do similar regulations. If not, we can do different things. And
if we work different, it's not attractive to the investment, to the public private sector. Okay.
And how is the private sector impacting things at the moment?
Well, the private sector says, we want that you regulate the online gambling as a country, not as 24 provinces, okay? So I can build one only platform and not 24 different platforms. That's the key of it.
And with the limit on the number of iGaming permits available, how are you planning to handle that licensing process? It sounds like a lot of work.
Yes, in Mendoza there will be a public web bidding and with a process of evaluation, and the bidders will have a score or point for many requirements like financial capacity, fees, business resources, and then they will win for one of the licenses that will be
7.
What?
7.
7. The maximum 7 and the minimum 2.
We are an open market. We didn't establish any limits.
And Ida, do you see the province-by-province rollout of regulation to be slowing the growth of the market?
Well, that is an issue because we don't have a federal system. Like we said, we have to do similar regulation because if not, it will be worse to the market. So we are working about that. But because unlikely, we are not going to have a national law. We have law in each province.
And you said about cooperation between provinces. Are you starting to see that happen? Is there more sort of communication between provinces and collaboration? And
Yes. This is necessary. And the operators would like that.
Yes. We're starting working technically and also in agreements between provinces.
Yes.
We are together we work in an association called LatAm in Argentina that is not a government association that bring all the regulators in one only table to work together.
An association.
Yes.
And are there any provinces that are sort of taking the lead in terms of making those leaps towards cooperating with other provinces?
We think, yes.
Which is taking the lead? I can't say.
You can say if you want. You don't have to.
No.
Yeah?
No.
She can say it.
I think so. But it's the only way we have to do something very well. So
The two biggest provinces are the city of Buenos Aires and the province of Buenos Aires. There are different provinces. Both was the first to start the operation, and are the bigger ones. So the lead is there because natural.
Yes, it will happen.
Successors.
And a question to all of you, whoever would like to answer, maybe we'll get an answer from each of you, but what efforts are you taking to direct players away from the unlicensed markets? Luiz, maybe you could answer first.
Well, I think that's a question for the future in Brazil after the market is regulated. Right now, there's actually nothing being done in that sense. As a matter of fact, there is roughly no restriction in that sense because the Brazilian criminal misdemeanor law does not apply to offshore operators. So there's not much that can be done in that sense. I think after regulation is in place, some measures will have to be taken in that sense, but right now there's nothing.
Is there a discussion about it, at least?
Yeah. I think international experience shows that IP blocking is definitely not effective, is not the best solution. Dealing with payment institutions, payment service providers seems to be more effective. Also, restrictions to advertising, banning illegal operators from advertising in Brazil. But it's quite complicated because of the Brazilian legal framework. So the law that created sports betting in Brazil, it didn't create any criminal provision relating to offshore gaming. So it's still a misdemeanor, and according to the misdemeanor law, if the conduct takes place outside of the Brazilian territory, it does not apply. So I think we still need to have some changes in the legislation to be enforceable.
Thank you. And Ida, any comments on that?
I think that advertising against illegal game is very, very important, and also we feel formal complaints to the legal systems all the time. We make last month 200 complaints, formal complaints, last month, and all the months is the same, because we think that the only way to combat the illegal game is with the legal game, and so we are advertising about that all the time.
And Sebastian, anything to add?
Yes, like
Similar.
my colleague said, a sustainable market, legal market, is the best way to attack illegal market. We have a lot of meetings with Google advertisement, with Facebook, with the financial system to teach them that there is a legal market, regulated, that they can work with them and not with the others. So this is the only way to shut the illegal market. Having a sustainable and commercially successful legal market.
Brilliant. And another question for you each to answer. Luiz, I'll come to you first. How important is advertising and marketing for regulated operators to ensure players are fully aware of legal offerings?
I think it's extremely important. It's of the essence. One of the discussions that we had in Brazil during the discussion of the regulatory framework was the importance of not having advertising restrictions for legal operators, at least in the first years of operation. When we're talking about a green market, a greenfield market like Brazil, it's important that the legal operators, they have some advantage compared to the illegal operators. And it needs to be clear for the clients that, okay, this is a legal operator, so that's why they're being able to advertise on TV. They can sponsor soccer teams, they can use Google AdWords, Facebook, whatever. If you restrict those legal operators from doing this kind of thing, from advertising, at the end of the day, you're leveling them with illegal operators, and that's very bad, especially when it's a greenfield market in the beginning of the opening of market. So I think it's a very interesting question. It's very important not to create advertising barriers, at least during the 5 first years of an opening market.
Brilliant.
I totally agree with Luiz. The operators should find the balance. The publicity and the marketing is very important in this industry, in the online gaming industry. Is almost vital to the commercial success of the operation, but they cannot be so aggressive like because politicians can see that as a danger for their interests. So has to be a balance between the necessary of the marketing and the social responsibility in the society.
Yes, I agree with both of my partners. I think that advertising is so important, and we are regulated about that because we think that is one of the most important issues in the regulation of online gambling. So we are working on that now in Mendoza.
I'd love to get an insight into each of your hopes for the rest of the year in your respective fields. So it's quite a transitional time for the industry. Luiz, what do you hope to see happen?
I hope to see something really
If anything,
actually happening in Brazil. I think I hope to see sports betting regulation come in July and finally license being issued in Brazil. I hope to see the bill for the gambling bill that was approved in the chamber being discussed in the Senate. It needs to be amended, but it also needs to be publicly discussed. And I want to see international series operators coming to Brazil and opening their business there.
And Sebastian or Ida?
For us, there is no transition year because the region, Latin American, is starting this is a start in the online, in the beginning of the online gaming. So I hope that this year the other countries and other provinces of my country can regulate this thing, and so the new starting of the industry.
Yes, and I hope that we have a good regulation because we are making that now. We are doing that, and I hope that the other province help us now
Yes, and Mendoza,
in that
of course.
process. No. And I think that is the only way to make the things very good in Argentina is make a regulation of online gambling and legal games, because that exists. So
It's a challenge to us.
Yes, that is a challenge to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And so let's talk about ICE, the show, ICE London. How are you enjoying it? What have you seen that you've enjoyed? Luiz?
Well, being able not to wear masks and being with so many people after so long, seeing friends, it feels so good. I think it's good to see that we are coming back to normal and see that the industry survived, and not only survived, but it managed to grow during this crazy period of time that we lived. I think it feels very good.
Well, it's my first time in ICE.
Welcome!
Yes.
Yay!
And I'm very happy. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I want to thank the organizers because I'm so happy, and it's wonderful. And it's make me learn a lot.
Great,
Yes.
great. And what about you, Sebastian?
I'm like Luis. He told my words. It's not my first time. I'm very happy to 2 years. After 2 years being here, meet with a lot of friends that 2 years we couldn't meet in person, and the show is very nice. It's very important for us. We love to be here.
Is there anything that ICE London has to offer that's unique to any other experience in this field?
For me, it's the mix of different actors of the industry: regulators, operators, providers, all kind of providers, all kind of operators, casino, sports bettings, lottery. That's the thing here. It's a show of the shows.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the variety of operators, verticals, suppliers, nationalities, it's incomparable with any other event.
It's the place when we meet with everyone
Yes.
in the industry.
There was one other time when the show didn't take place. It hasn't always been ICE. It's had other names beforehand. But there was one other occasion apart from the pandemic when the show was cancelled. Can any of you guess when that may have been? One other world event that meant
Oh,
that
this is the first
show
post-pandemic.
didn't
Yes,
go
this is the
ahead.
first for
The first
pandemic.
post-pandemic, this one.
So the pandemic was one. There's one other time when the show was cancelled.
I don't remember. I couldn't say.
It wasn't 9/11. It's a good guess. It's not 9/11. Any other guesses in there, Luiz?
No.
It was the Second World War.
Wha-
That was the
the
only other
Second World
time there
War.
was
Yes.
a
Yes.
postponing of the show.
I couldn't make it to that year.
Really brilliant insights from you all, folks. Thank you so much for coming in to see us at ICE 365 Live. That was LatAm in Focus. Up next, we have LatAm headlines, so stay tuned for that. I'll be joined in the studio by Augustin Sykes, the co-founder and COO of LatAm Media Group. Stay tuned.